So we are going to start with a new topic today, that is your economics of the cloud. Okay. So basically, economics of the cloud simply refers to that whenever you talk about cloud, how easy it will be you to deliver the services with respect to scalability, with respect to simplicity, how it can be very much easy for you to do. Okay, because whenever you are deploying a cloud, it has lot of, you can say, overhead cost with it. When you are talking about a private cloud, okay, public cloud is something will not come up with much overhead since the users are going to be always high there. It is, they are going to be accessing all the time. But if you want security, if you want your, you can say, privacy over your data, and if you are going for having a private cloud, then in that case economics of the cloud will be something different. Okay, so if we talk about public cloud, mostly this is the cloud which is provided by your cloud provider. Okay, and this cloud provider is something, is going to always help you, is always going to provide the services as per you want. Okay, okay, so the provider is going to provide you services as you pay. So whatever services you are going to, use, you are going to pay for that service only. As we know, this is the one of the most prominent features of your public cloud in case of which is provided by your cloud provider. So when we talk about cloud computing, if it's going to give you these four advantages, okay, so the very first, it is going to reduce your capital cost. That is something dealing, or you can say, is associated to IT infrastructure. Like you don't need to maintain your own infrastructure. You don't need to have servers. You don't need to have computers, applications, or softwares. You can just hire the services, pay for it, and then just you get it done. Second, it will eliminate the depreciation of the lifetime cost associated with capital assets. As you know, this is the logical concept which is there. All your capital assets with respect to time, the cost is going to always depreciate. So this is something which is going to be eliminated here. You don't need to buy anything. The cost will not be depreciated. You just have to go for the services and you have to pay for it. Third, you're going to replace your software licensing with subscription. So now if you're going for your own cloud, private cloud, you need to take the softwares, and this softwares are needs to be licensed ones. You cannot go for the pirated ones, obviously. So this licensing of the software needs to be done. Then a timely you have to renew the license. So there is a lot of overhead there. So now you're replacing your software licensing with subscription. The subscription here is you're asking for a cloud services, so you will take subscription. That can be yearly subscription, can be your monthly subscription, or that can be your annual subscription. So the choice is yours. Now you're replacing your traditional software licensing, which you had to do it if you're not going for this cloud service or you're not referring the cloud computing providers. Next, you are cutting the maintenance and administrative costs of IT resources. So here you don't need to hire administrative people. Here you need to hire skillful people who are going to maintain your applications, or maintain your servers, maintain your data. You are directly asking for the services which is going to be provided by the cloud provider, and they are going to go for it. So in short, these are the four, you can say, generic advantages of cloud computing over your traditional systems, which if you are going for them, then you have to bear this four. If you are not going for the traditional systems, you are going to be benefited, and you are going to reduce these four things from your budget. Okay, so it is always suggested that when you don't want to get yourself into overhead cost, just do a simple step, that is just opt for the cloud service with the help of your cloud providers and get everything ready in a lesser time. Mostly your cloud computing environments are called as ready-made environments because everything is ready. You just have to customize as per your requirements. You have to just use it, and whatever you're using, you have to pay for that only. Okay, so we are going to go much in detail into this in the next slide. So here we are going to look into that when we talk about pricing model. Like in cloud computing, we have read this terminology everywhere, that pay as you go. Okay, pay for what you use or pay as you go. So there are some type of pricing models which are there, which are strategies which are adopted by the prior providers. So we are going to look into that. So the very first type of pricing is tiered pricing. Okay, so basically here in this, as the word is tiered, like it simply refers to different layers. Okay, so here there are going to be different layers, like it depending on what you have in SLA you have signed. SLA stands for service level agreement. Whenever you are giving any services to your consumer, okay, you are going to fix some amount of price, okay, and with that fixed price you are going to do the charging with respect to that. Okay, so that is your SLA. So here in this model, the cloud services which you are going to offer, it is going to be in several tiers. Okay, each of them will be have a fixed computing specification. Okay, and at there is going to be a specific price for per unit of the time. So here you're going to have like for per hour you're going to charge 500, per hour you're going to charge 300. So here accordingly you're going to do it. So if I am using the service for the 3 hours, so if it is 500, then 5 3 I have to pay 1500 for the day. So that is called as tiered pricing. So with the levels they have designed, if you're choosing this level, then the pricing will be this per hour. If you're using this level, selecting this level, then the price will be this, and so on. Okay, so mostly this type of model is used by Amazon. It is with the EC2 service, where there are different server configurations and different computing capacities are there, like your CPU speed, type, and memory, and it is going to have different cost per hour. So they have decided some level. If you're going for this top level with this capacity, with this type, and with this speed, then the cost will be this. Similarly, and so on, it will be there. So this is called tiered pricing. Layer by layer, you will have different prices, and according with that prices, you're going to pay hourly basis or on the basis of the time as it is declared into your SLA. That is service level agreement. Whenever you are taking any service, then you are going to sign an agreement where you are going to specify that you have selected this level and this level has this pricing stated there. Okay. Second we have is per unit pricing. So if I talk about per unit pricing, it simply refers that whatever units of the services which you are taking, like the blocks of data, your memory allocation, your server configuration, everything for every unit, okay, every service which you are going to ask for specific service, for every unit of the service, you are going to be charged differently. Okay, so here the customers can decide themselves that what are their application needs, what units of block of data they want, what services they are looking for, and accordingly they will be charged for this. Okay, like they have given an example of GoGrid. Okay, so here in GoGrid the customers are paying according to the RAM they are using for the server's deployment per hour. Okay, so the RAM whichever you are using, it is going to be, you ask for that. So per unit it will charge. Like for example, memory allocation is there. So if you are asking for this amount of memory, then you will be charged for this. So all units will be here. Your memory allocation, your RAM, your CPU, your speed. So all the units which are there, which are going to be here, are going to be charged on the basis of that. Okay. So services which you're going to ask for unit wise, and the unit wise payment you have to do, that is per unit pricing. Okay. We have the third one as well, which we're going to look into in the next slide. So next is the one which is the third type of pricing, that is subscription based, and mostly, cloud consumers usually go for this type of pricing because they are really not sure that the services which they are going to get from the providers, whether they are going to like it or not. Okay, so this is the very first initial pricing mechanism which always a consumer opt for. If they liked it, then they can go for the other levels, that is maybe tired or they may be per unit. But at very first place, you should be very much sure that whoever is your cloud provider, he is actually giving you a good service. So to know that at initial level, you will always go for a subscription based pricing. Okay, so mostly this type of the model is used by software as an application. Okay, and according to your usage, you're going to pay for that. So there is a periodic subscription fee which you need to pay for the software which you have asked for or the services which you are going to use. Okay, so always whenever you are going for cloud service, this is my suggestion to everyone. Whenever you go for the cloud service for the very first time and you are having not much detail about the cloud provider, don't have a good background knowledge of that cloud provider, how is it, you always go for a subscription option and always go for the service that is software as a service. Don't go for platform or infrastructure for initial level. Okay, let know the cloud provider very well, and then you can go for the other services. Very lowest level of service which by which you can understand how the cloud provider is software as an application, and the pricing mechanism you should go for is subscription based pricing. With this, you can understand that how that provider is giving you service, and you should be continuing with him or not. That also you can decide sooner or later. Okay, so this is your last technique. There are three techniques: tired base pricing, second is per unit pricing, and third is the subscription pricing. Next, we are moving to the topic that is open challenges. Okay, so open challenges simply here refers to that though the cloud computing technology has been into existence since years, but still, if you see, there are still some challenges, there are still some shortcomings, or you can say limitations, which yet to be, come to an conclusion or yet to be still solved. Okay? So the very first we are going to start with the basic, that is what is the definition of cloud computing. So if I talk about cloud computing, everybody knows about it in just one word, that it is an on-demand self-service. So whatever you want, you can demand for it, and according to your requirements, it is will be provided to you. There are different services which are provided, which are classified into three types, that is software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. So here you're going to see that how the platforms are there. It is going to look into different deployment models are there, that is public, private, community, and hybrid. So here this is about your cloud definition, which tells you that what do you mean by cloud and how you can provide that services, on demand services that can be provided. Second we have is cloud interoperability and standards. Cloud interoperability, it simply refers that how your cloud services or your cloud platforms are compatible with different platforms, how well they are working with different platforms, how well they are working with different infrastructures, how well they are working with other utility applications. So that is something which refers to cloud interoperability and standard. As we know that if we talk about cloud computing, it is a service-based model, and basically the main intention or motive behind here, it is going to deliver IT infrastructure services, and it is going to give you utility services as well. Okay, so that utility services can be in terms of your electricity, it can be your power. So to fully utilize this, there are many standards which are there, and few standards are something which are are interoperable, that they can be easily combined or they can be mismatched with other formats or other standards, and they can together work and give the solution to the problems if there are any. Okay, so basically cloud integrity and standard means what, at times few of the standards are violated, at times few of the standards are being combined with other, just for the reason that we can provide solutions going out of box. And if there are any vendors who they are also providing and value added services, just to let know the consumer that we can provide it something out of box as well. Okay, so there are many more challenges which we're going to look into in the next slide. Let's move to the next. So next we are moving to the challenges, that is scalability and fault tolerance. Okay. So if I talk about what scalability, it simply refers that how easy it can be for you to add resources, or you can say add services or add components to your current or to your existing cloud service or cloud computing platform. So that is referred as scalability. Okay. If I talk about fault tolerance, it simply refers to that how it can be easy for your cloud computing environments to overcome the fault. If there is any fault, will it be back up with some other services? How the fault is going to be managed, or either your system is going to be held for a longer time. So that is refers to as fault tolerance. So mostly, if I talk about your cloud environments or your cloud services, mostly scalability is something which has been incorporated very well, and this has been seen in terms of performance, size, and load. But fault tolerance is something which is yet to be, you can say, to be considered in your open challenges, because we have not seen this perspective as of now. Okay, like if the fault occurs, then will it your system will be able to overcome it, will be able to tolerate, or if not, then what is the option? So scalability has been done very well, but fault tolerance is yet to be done, which is again an open challenge. Next, we have fourth, security, trust, and privacy. To be very honest, security, as I've already told you before, and security, trust, and privacy, this is an area of research almost in every field, you can say, or you can say in every areas, this is something yet under research. So the same applies here as well. In cloud computing also, you cannot expect that your security privacies are solved. They are still under research and that still needs to be incorporated, or you can say still needs to be taken care of here. However, if you are putting your data here, then you have to adopt something from your end, like you can go for cryptographic technologies, you can go for confidential, you can go for algorithms, you can go for encrypting techniques. You, that is something which you have to adopt from your end to prevent your data from other users, from extruders, or from hackers. But if you talk about system to do it for you, this is something yet not been done so far. So you have to protect your own data. You are responsible for doing the same. In cloud, if you are expecting that they are going to provide security and privacy, then I'm very sorry for it. This is something is not done yet so far. Okay, so this is the three things which is very much important, and this is again a very open challenge which is yet to be fulfilled in your future coming deployment models. We are looking forward that this will be resolved definitely. Next, we have the fifth, that is organizational aspects. So if I talk about organizational aspect, it simply here refers to that you know that IT services are something which is going to be changed with years and years. New technologies are going to come into the pictures, new software deployment techniques are going to come into the picture, different techniques to manage the data, store the data, maintaining the network. Everything is going to be like, it is something which is going to keep on changing. We cannot expect that there is going to be always a technology constant. The technology is always going to keep changing. What is today will not be there tomorrow. Okay. So similarly, organizational aspects are also there, that IT services, the way they are consuming, the way they are managing, that will keep on changing. You cannot expect that your cloud provider is going to provide you same services, same applications, and same platforms all the year. That is not possible, because that will be used then termed as it is an outdated provider. So with time you have to change. With time, the people consuming the services will also change. The way they are asking for services will also change. So over the time, everything will change. And this is again an organizational consideration. It is a challenge for an organization that with this upcoming technology to match the requirement is again a big constraint, you can say limitation or a challenge which has to be done from the organization end. Okay, only the best part is like the overhead cost which you can be, which was initially managed by the organization, has been completely reduced here. It has been implemented, and now it is being delivered over the cloud computing platform over the metered basis. Metered is nothing but pay as you go, like pricing models which you are opting for, and accordingly it is going to meter, it is going to calculate your bill. Okay, so as I've already told you before, internet is, we used to call it initially, but now we call that same thing as cloud computing. With the help of internet, we are storing the data over the virtual clouds and we are managing over it. So let's move to the next now.